Greetings, everyone. Before starting with today's presentation, let me show you something absolutely amazing that I'm about to do on this stage. And here's how it goes. Isn't it amazing? I was actually walking on my feet. What? All of you think that walking is easy. Well, let me tell you something. Over 100 million people in this world only dream of walking. Yet, when I walked on this stage, none of you felt amazed. Perhaps most of us take the act of walking for granted. But for someone, the simple act of walking can be an elusive dream. Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever dreamt of becoming a person who can walk? Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rahil. Being a mechanical engineer, I'm always obsessed with gadgets. For weeks and weeks, I have been studying relentlessly to identify the technology that we have to help such spatially able people, also known as amputees, with the help of a prosthetic knee. So, what is a prosthetic knee? Well, in medical terms, a prosthetic knee is an artificial device which acts as a substitute for the missing human knee, which may be lost due to trauma, diseases, disasters, etc. They are designed to support and supplement the function of the missing human knee. So at the top, you have a socket where the residual limb of an amputee fits. Then you have a knee which controls the dynamics of walking. And at the end, you have a pylon and foot for the support. Well, it's a matter of concern that the number of amputees are increasing at an alarming rate. Every year, we have 1 million people losing their limbs, which means for every 30 seconds, we have a new amputee added to the population. And Tushar here, he is one of them. Tushar is a 29-year-old above-knee amputee who have lost his knee in an unfortunate motor vehicle accident. He has a whole productive life ahead of him. And all he can do is carry himself with wooden crutches. And what options does people like Tushar have? Let's take a look. The knee shown in this picture is the most advanced knee known to us, known as the C-leg knee. It has got a microprocessor, which you can program in 3 different modes for walking, running, and even swimming. It basically works on hydraulics and can pretty much do anything. But the problem with the C-leg knee is that it costs for about 15,000 British pounds. Now, for people like Tushar, earning less than 4 pounds per day, purchasing this device or even having access to this device is an elusive dream. Today's modern prosthetics, ladies and gentlemen, cost for about thousands of pounds, making them limited only to the people who can afford them, and forcing all the other amputees worldwide to either live a life with wooden crutches or without any assistance at all. Despite the significant technological advances that we have made in the fields of robotics, computing, and mechanical engineering, we have only 20% of these amputees who can actually afford these prostheses. Now, imagine this. What do you think will happen if we combine 3D printing and open sourcing with the manufacturing of prosthetics? Empowering all the other amputees worldwide to go online, download the existing design that they love, and 3D print his own prosthetic knee. This can completely change the game because now we will have prosthetics just for the cost of material, just for the cost of 3D printing, so that people like Tushar will be able to afford them. Here's the design of a 3D printable prosthetic knee that I have been working, costing for only 45 pounds to its users. Named as Infinity, the prosthetic knee utilizes simple mechanical linkages to synthesize a mechanism that replicates and works like an actual human knee. Well, in order to understand how the Infinity knee works, let us start with nature as a model. Now, walking is such a classic example of amazing engineering masterpiece. The 2 legs beautifully coordinate with each other, classifying the human walking cycle in 2 phases. 1, the stance phase, and 2nd, the swing phase. In the stance phase, the main task of the knee is to stabilize the leg and support the body weight. And in the stance phase, thus the knee locks itself in the extended position while the foot maintains its contact with the ground. Immediately after the stance phase comes the swing phase. In the swing phase, the main task of the knee is to swing the leg away from the ground. And hence, in the swing phase, the knee unlocks itself, bends the knee for about 60 degrees, and then goes back in preparation for the next step. Many of the muscles that are responsible for the success of these steps and biological sensors that provides the body the feedback about the progression of motion are unfortunately missing after an amputation. Interestingly, the infinity knee compensates for this problem by utilizing simple FOBA mechanism to translate power from the muscles of the hip to the leg to approximate the human walking cycle. But the question is, what makes a mechanism possibly mimic a human knee? Now, the answer to that is a little interesting. And to find it, we need to examine the infinity knee closely through the magnifying glass of mechanics. So a prosthetic knee is a simple FOBA mechanism having a variable center of rotation, also known as the instantaneous center of rotation, symbolized by the moving red point. In mechanical engineering, it is defined as the instantaneous imaginary point about which the links are assumed to be rotating at that very instant. Now, as the links assume different position in space at different point of time, so for every instant, the instantaneous center is also at different point. And the position of this red point, ladies and gentlemen, decides the locking and unlocking of the knee, corresponding to the straightening and bending of the knee. Well, in order to understand how this entire mechanism works, let me illustrate an example. Let us assume that an amputee is walking wearing the design of the infinity knee. So what happens is, in the stance phase, when he concentrates his weight on the heel, the instantaneous center of the infinity knee goes behind the reaction force line, creating a clockwise torque which locks the knee, helping him to support his body weight. Immediately after the stance phase, the moment his toe touches the ground, the instantaneous center of the infinity knee goes in front of the reaction force line, creating an anti-clockwise torque which unlocks the knee, helping him to bend the knee and initiate the swing phase. This combination of the artificially stimulated stance phase and swing phase thus allows anyone wearing a prosthetic knee to help him approximate the human walking cycle. And that is amazing. Here's the picture of Tushar wearing the prototype of the infinity knee. Along with the objective of having a high-performance, affordable prosthetic knee, the infinity knee is also a design that makes one feel as a part of his own body, as a part of his own being. Yes, the knee does lack some of the features that are present in the high-end prosthetics, and a lot of work needs to be done in the fields of design, geometry, ergonomics, etc. But it is something that is workable, and most importantly, it is cheap. This project, ladies and gentlemen, is an attempt to empower millions of people around the world for whom walking is just a dream. All those people who felt isolated from the society just because they could not walk will finally be able to afford a prosthetic knee, will finally have a choice for a prosthetic knee, irrespective of their income level. Here's an inspirational story of an Indian girl named Arunima Sinha. In 2011, she was thrown off from a moving train when she refused to hand over the golden chain she was wearing to a group of thugs. A train went over her and crushed her leg. In 2013, the same girl scripted off history by climbing Mount Everest and became the world's first female amputee to ever achieve that feat. Well, that is the power, ladies and gentlemen, of embracing someone's adversity, of simply turning someone's disability into super ability. Because it is not the humans that are disabled. It is the technology that is disabled. It is the technology that is inadequate. Thank you.